That's all right. Okay, so we're now recording, people. Welcome to December's Friends of the Dream House webinar. As you can see, it's all Christmassy. Ian's now showing us a Christmas card.
Yes, look, we can be Christmassy.
Yeah. Seeing as today is Christmas jumper day for Save the Children, I've got my Christmas jumper on. So.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Okay, so Ian now, well, maybe that is a better side of you. We can't see your face because you're all covered in Christmas cards. Oops.
Oh, we've got some nice.
So today,
are those Christmas stamps?
Stamps, yeah.
There's angels on these stamps.
Oh wow!
I don't know if you can see.
All right, yeah. All right, you're very good. I haven't even got round to buying Christmas cards yet. Never mind having stamps as well.
Oh, that was Jerry.
I'm feeling decidedly disorganised. Maybe this weekend we might get the Christmas tree out of the loft, but yeah, it's just been one of those days. But anyway, thank you for those of you that were able to join us today. That's really nice. I have had one or two apologies. That even with the change of time, they weren't going to be able to join us today at all. So that's just the way things go sometimes. But I did send out a dream for you to work on. And I've got one or two people who have replied. So we'll look at theirs in a minute. But for those of you that haven't looked at it or seen it yet, it was a very short dream. So what I thought we would do is we'll just work through it together. So the dreamer, as far as I'm aware, is a Christian. And she gave the dream the title Executive Office Job. And the dream says, I was in a very nice office. My role was to deal with the top people, executives and high caliber. They were surrounding me, listening to me keenly. Then a friend was saying to me that she will come and I will teach her how to deal with such people. I had beautiful brown durable shoes on. That's the end of the dream. So, what I think I will do is, we've already got a couple there. So Jerry and Emma, you can work on this. I'll send you into one room to work on it by yourself. Although you're technically already in a room, so that's all right. And then Ian and Rob, I will send you into another room and you can have a chat about that dream and I'll dip in and out. So if you're watching this on catch up on the website, I would suggest that you put this on pause now and go and do your own work and then restart the video once you've come up with an interpretation for the dream. Okay, right, okay, welcome back from your little wee chats about the dream. If we start maybe with Ian and Rob, what did you make of this particular dream?
Well, we both thought the last line was probably the kind of the key to it. It's the dream about the dreamer.
Yeah.
The fact that she recognised brown durable shoes. The verse that came to mind was from Isaiah 52:7 or Romans 10:15, which is how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news.
Please.
And we felt that cadre, by the way, we wonder if that is actually the right word, because a cadre is a group of people who can lead an organisation and train others. And so we were wondering if this is actually about, and because it's become nice and clean, it's a really nice office, we wondered whether it's actually about her and her gifting and evangelism, earthed back in the reel of the brown shoes, the earthed, to teach those that have become so professional that they don't actually know that particular task. But she's not to do it all. She's to teach other person to do that task. So she'll do it, but she's also going to train others to do it.
Okay, thank you.
That's kind of the splurge of it.
Okay. Hi, Martin.
I think there's a connection between that, and also Ephesians 6:15. The shoes and the armor are about the gospel about the readiness to share the gospel of peace.
Yeah.
And so there's something about the shoes that seem to kind of almost literally root it in that place.
Okay. So what about Emma and Jerry?
Well, we're kind of loosely almost in agreement there. We saw three threads. One was her skill set, or her, might be too much to say anointing, but her giftings. Secondly, that she needs to teach it, to pass it on. And thirdly, the beautiful brown shoes with all the connotations that Ian was talking about, but we thought that was, this comes about because of the position that or attitude that she's walking in. Because brown is humility, she sees beauty in it. You wouldn't normally choose brown durable shoes to be a beautiful thing in the natural. So we kind of loosely agree there that last sentence is fairly key. I think it talks about attitude, way she's walking, but it is definitely, it's interesting that in the first bit that these high caliber people are surrounding her, listening to her keenly. So whatever she's got is of value, and they want it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could I just, is that okay for me?
Mm-hmm.
Add that there's a couple of other things. Is if you're seeing beauty, so durable, there's some longevity in that. They're not just going to wear out in 5 minutes. So it's something that's in there for the long term, or the option is for the long term, possibly even on rugged ground, but for the long term. And maybe she's servant-hearted as well, the humility thing. And there's also the thing about the office. She must be doing a lot of praying. Maybe because you've got prayers in certain other traditions. An office is your morning prayer, your lunchtime prayer, your evening prayer. I'm pretty sure why she's got the beautiful brown shoes. She's seeing one of her things is prayer, and maybe she has got the beauty inside her, or the treasure, and it's shining, and these smart people can see it, and they want it.
Yeah.
And in there there'll be honesty and good character, and literally she's got what it takes because of the time she spends with Jesus, basically, to go the distance. I think that's about it. Yeah. So I'm looking at my notes over here. So
no, that's fine. So Martin, just to bring you up to speed, all we've done so far is we've just been looking at the dream that I sent to for homework. So we're just kind of catching up with that. So Ian and Rob went off into a wee breakout room and discussed it for about 10 minutes, and then Emma and Jerry did the same. So this is just us bringing things back together. Pardon me. So let's look then at which document is it? That one, isn't it? Excuse me.
Oh yeah, calling dream.
What?
Yeah, is it a calling dream?
Potentially.
Oh, might be a calling dream. I'm not sure.
Excuse me. So at the top of the screen here, that's just a reminder of what the dream was. So it was all about the executive office job, and that was what the dreamer sent me. So the two that I had back, I had an interpretation back from Claudia, who said, "Dear dreamer, this is a dream given to you by God. It was sent to encourage you and to show you the future. It tells you that your walk in humility will give you access to people of influence. You will have favor and the skills you need to not only do your job, but even to teach others to do the same." Yeah. And then I had some from Alan, who sort of broke it down a little bit for us so we can see his working. Oops. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Excuse me. Alan agrees, yeah, it's a calling dream, or it could be a prophetic dream as well, if if this wasn't something that dreamer was already moving into. But yeah, the focus of this dream is the dreamer. The sub-focuses are the office, the job, and the friend. Yeah. And the details are definitely the brown durable shoes. That's something that's really important in this dream.
Yeah.
And Alan's broken it down to say that brown is compassion, humility. Shoes, readiness to announce the gospel, which is from Ephesians, talking about the armour of God. And durable, so there's, as you said, Emma, it's something for the long term, and it can cope with tough conditions. So we're not talking about the dreamer walking in very posh high heels that are going to cause you to topple, that the minute you get into slippery conditions you're going to fall. That's not what these shoes are all about. And then Alan went somewhere that I didn't go, but I can see why he's kind of gone there. He said that the top people, there are 3 categories that are mentioned. So he's taken that to be representative of God, which is possible. Yeah.
Well, the other way to see that is
that's intercession then.
Governmental.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's in the Bible. Governmental comes in 3s. Doesn't it?
Can do. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's 12.
But he has said that the role was to deal with top people, to relate to them, and they were listening to the dreamer. So that's how he kind of broke it down. But what he said, or what he would say to the dreamer is, this is a great dream, inviting you to teach others the skill of talking to God and developing a deep relationship with him. So rather than the evangelism side of things, he's gone down more the intercession prayer side of things.
Yeah. I didn't get the evangelism. I just got the prayer bit.
You have already been doing this for a long time and you're good at it. This may be hard work at times, but you can do it well. And through it, you will show God's love and compassion to the world and make a real difference. So I kind of agree with him on that, and I like Claudia's interpretation as well. I think if I could blend the two of these together, excuse me, I think that would kind of work better for me, because you definitely need to have this last bit, because it's very clear that the thing for this sentence here is that it's not something that the dreamer is going to do by herself and keep to herself. It is a skill that either she has worked on and developed, or God has given her, but she's going to share it with other people. So she's going to teach other people how to do what she does. So that's an important part that Claudia drew out there, that Alan, well, yeah, he kind of does it at the beginning, inviting you to teach others the skill of talking to God. But I think I like the way that Claudia worded it slightly better. But that's just my personal opinion, because she said you will teach others. It's more. I don't think it's the invitation bit that that Alan picked up. I think it's more direct than that, and saying you will be doing this. So there's nothing wrong with what you said, Alan, when you're watching this back. It's just that little nuance, because she was saying that she will come and I will teach her how to deal with such people. So yeah, so it could be yes, that there's access to people of power, or as Alan said, it could be connected with God and intercession, or it could be a combination of both. So it's something that the dreamer is being called to do. I think we agree on that. It's a work that God has given her to do. It's going to have I think there is an aspect of she is going to have access to people at the top of organizations. So she's going to have influence, whether that's at a management level or a boardroom level, governmental level. You know, there's going to be something at that kind of level that this dream is saying, this is where you're moving into. I don't know anything about her, so she might be in that kind of position already, but the dream is definitely saying that these people are going to listen to what you have to say. And a lot of that comes from her humility, which is the brown shoes, but also because of her relationship with God, because of what she's been through. Now, it doesn't actually say that in this particular dream, but there is the inference in here that it's, you know, something that she's going to move into. So, any other comments from anybody on that particular dream? Martin, what was your thoughts on it?
When I was reading the dream, I thought to myself, it's just simple. But there are nice and small nuances. The durability, I didn't have that in my interpretation. And I don't know, I think she is already in the position.
Mm-hmm.
That's my feeling from the dream. That she is already, I don't know what it's called in English. We in Germany say Betriebsrat, somebody who is chosen by the company people, and he works with the leadership, with the CEOs of the company,
mm-hmm.
to work in between those two parties. That's what my feeling is like. And I think more from, it's not in the dream, but my gut feeling says she is already in this kind of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with Martin. That thought occurred to us as well.
Oh, answer the phone. Yeah, so and again, that comes back to what you feel you're receiving from God about this situation. So as we move into looking at other people's dreams and so on, you know, it's different from dealing with our own dreams and for dreams of people that we know. because we know a little bit about what they're involved in and what they're currently doing. But when you're moving into dealing with things like this, a lot of it is asking those questions of God. Is this something that she's currently doing? Is it something that she's moving into? Is it going to be a development of what she's currently doing? So it's having that conversation with God about the situation, and then trusting what you sense he's going to give you, or what he's given you, rather than trying to second guess, you know, was that God, was that me, am I making this up? You know, in this process you just need to go, okay, this is what I think I'm getting, and put trust in that. Okay, so let me just stop sharing.
That's very true.
So we've got a few minutes left just before we finish off today. So rather than looking at another dream, what I thought I would do is simply open the floor up to, you know, do you have any questions, maybe about dreams that you've been working on yourself, or just, you know, a deep burning theological question, in which case Martin or Ian can answer that. But you know, just take some time. Is there anything that you want to know? Martin Ram has raised his hand. Okay.
Just from a dream I had, we learned at the training
Yeah.
that nakedness is not a bad thing in dreams.
Yeah.
But what is if it seemed that nakedness is covered up? Like in my dream, I send it to you, and it's not a clear thing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have that in dreams? Like somebody's covering up his true being?
Yeah, it could be. I suppose if the nakedness is covered up, then that would tend to take me back to the Garden of Eden. You know, what happened to Adam and Eve? The first thing that they did after they had eaten the apple was that they covered up their nakedness. They were aware of their vulnerability, of their transparency, and they took it on themselves to try and cover things up. So it would depend on why you're covering things up, and also what you're covering up with, I suppose. Because sometimes, you know, there will be people in situations that will cover up things because it's not acceptable. So you won't show people everything about you because that's not a good thing. Either because you're embarrassed by certain parts of who you are, or because you feel that they might be offended by, you know, who God has created you to be, or it's not seen as being socially acceptable. So there could be a whole variety of reasons why in a dream you would cover up your nakedness. So you need to examine a little bit about, if you're the dreamer, you know, why did I do that? But also look at the responses of other people round about. You know, were they happier that, you know, you were covered up in that situation, or not?
Well, in the dream I sent you,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a key part that the lady in the dream doesn't want to look like what she is.
Right.
That's a key part in the dream, which
Yeah.
came later after I sent it to you. And
Okay.
that's just like, I'm closing up my true nature, so others won't see what I'm really about.
Yeah.
In that sense, asking if this is a possibility.
It's a possibility, yeah. That,
Okay.
that you want to not to let other people see, everything about you. In a sense, a lot of us are like that, because if we let people in and let them see everything about us, then that makes us vulnerable.
Yeah, of course. And we can probably see what the other person is about and act differently.
Yeah.
To the person. In my dream, the lady without the coat would be a totally different meaning in what she is trying to do.
Yeah.
And that would lead to probably going the other way.
Yeah, so it is, again, as we teach on the course, it's all about context.
Mhm.
What's happening in this particular dream? Is the being naked a good thing, a bad thing? How do other people respond to it? It's looking at taking the, because I think I was talking about this with somebody else the other day, is that sometimes if things like that happen in a dream, we can become so focused on just that little bit. But actually, what God wants to see is the bigger picture. So we need to take it in the context of what else is happening in the dream, not just in this little section.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
I have something I'd like to say. I'm not sure it's a question.
Okay.
I'm not sure about this at all. I had what I thought was a very, very heavyweight, significant dream about 4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kept going back to God about it nearly every day. And I'm actually coming to believe that it wasn't a dream. It was actually something, an occurrence in, for want of a better word, another spiritual realm. In other words, that it actually happened.
Okay.
Wonder what your thinking might be on that.
It's not out with the realms of possibility. The thing to remember is that dreams are symbolic and would require interpretation.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's a spiritual occurrence of whatever shape or form, then it is what it is. So when I was at one Mind Body Spirit event, we had a young lady, and she said that when she was a little girl, there was this pillar of gold light, and there was like flecks going up and down it, and I can't remember all the details, and she said there was somebody on the other side of the pillar of light from her, and they just said, this is God. And I had to say to her that I can't give you an interpretation for this because it's not a dream. And I said, for whatever reason, when you were a little girl, you were taken to a place while your body was asleep and your spirit was still awake, that you were introduced to God. And she went, oh, that, she said, I've had so many experiences like this, but everybody kept telling me that they weren't real and I was making things up and so on. She said, you, this group of people here, you've been the first people that can actually say what I feel is really true. So without knowing the details, I would say to you, Jerry, that if you feel this is, whatever happened was a real spiritual experience, then your question has to be to go back to God and say, right, okay, why? Why did I have this experience? What do you want me to learn or understand from whatever it is that happened to you? Sometimes it can be more like, your body can be asleep, and it's more like a vision. So it's a bit like what happened with Paul and the man from Macedonia. He saw a man from Macedonia. The interpretation was he had to follow what the man said and go to Macedonia. That's as simple as it. And sometimes it can be like that. But that would be the question I would encourage you to go back to God with. You will know what happened, and simply be asking why. Because there will be a reason. It might be for something that you need now, or he might say because you need this as a sort of touch point that you can come back to for something that's going to happen in the future. I don't know, but that would be the question to ask.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Good. Happy.
Can I say something to this?
Of course you can.
I think it would be good to talk to God about what my heart was thinking about, like with Nebuchadnezzar and his dream. He was a young king, 2 years in reign, and he was thinking about what will happen in the future. He was turning things in his heart, and God answered in a dream. And God likes absolutely to answer our hard questions. And that might be a point where you can talk to God about it. What had I in my heart thinking about? And maybe that's related to what you experienced.
Thank you. That's really good. That is so good. So good, Martin. Thank you.
Thanks, Martin.
So this is why we do it in a collective, because we don't all, have all the answers.
It has given me a lot of thought, and it's one of those things I can't shake out of my daily thinking.
Wow.
So anyway, maybe I'll share it another time.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so we're almost at the end of our time for today. But what I would say is thank you very much for all of those of you who have replied and said that you would be willing to be part of, interpreting dreams and reducing my workload a little bit in that respect. So I will be in touch with you. I'm hoping to do that before Christmas. Monday is my last day of paid employment before the Christmas break. Then I'm hoping things will sort of calm down a little bit, and I'll have more time to do Dreamhouse stuff. But we'll wait and see how that works out. So I will get some information and things to you, and then we can work that out. So thank you very much for that. Ian, waking up. You look sleepy there. Could you, as being the other official partner in the Dreamhouse training company, could you possibly speak a blessing over all of us, sort of as we move into Christmas and the start of 2020? I didn't prime him for this, so this is off the cuff.
Yeah. I bless you in Jesus' name, that he would give to you a fresh revelation of incarnation of God with us, Emmanuel. That he would reveal to you Christ in you, the hope of glory, in the midst of this season and the months to come. And that you would have dreams in the night and fresh revelations of the purposes that God wishes to fulfill in you and through you for all that he has placed before you to step into. And as you step into in obedience to the things he shows you and leads you into, that his blessings would fall upon you, would overtake you, and you would step into those in this new season that's to come. And that you would have deeper wisdom, understanding, and revelation as you read his word and as you hear the Spirit whisper eternal things from the kingdom and from the King on the throne. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 So
Thanks.
thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
The other thing I'll send out, because I realised today's one was the last date that we had in the diary for webinars. So I'll also send out a list of the dates and times going forward. And I say, if you're not able to join us live, then it's always the possibility you can catch up by watching it on the website. And the other thing I'm hoping to have time to do over, well, there's two things. Over Christmas is to write some more blogs that can go in the restricted friends section of the website, and I'm also wanting to finish my book that was supposed to be finished last February, but hey ho, we'll see how it goes. So bless you, have a great time over the festive period, enjoy everything that comes your way, and we will see you in 2020.
Hey,
Hey.
Wow.
2020 vision.